Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So, oh gosh, it's so funny that I have to make this video about the video that came out today on China, or more specifically about the thumbnail. You can check it out here. Isn't that a racist thumbnail there? That is just, man, that John guy, he must be a raging racist because he put a thumbnail on one of his videos of him looking Chinese. He put the mustache, he put the hat, the eyes. Oh, so racist. I mean, holy crap. Let's not even pay attention to what he said in the video. Let's not even talk about how he went to China and he thinks that, you know, China is awesome and they're gonna take over the world, and his thoughts on China, which are, you know, totally not racist at all. But let's look at this image and say, oh yeah, you can't do that, dude. You can't do that. You can't make character types of people. You can't make yourself look like another race. That's just someone somewhere in history, someone in the political correctness police. They declared a law that said that you are not allowed to make yourself look like another race. Now let's forget about the fact that it's been done in so many movies, that there's even a movie, what is it called? Is it called White Guys or something? And it's okay because it's black guys that paint their faces white. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. And comedians, you know, they can do whatever because they're comedians. You know, they can make fun of whatever. But oh, well, wait a minute. There is an exception. There's a loophole in this rule. If you look at section C32, which was pointed out to me, this is okay, what you did, if you have some sort of Chinese heritage. If you don't, then it's not okay, because if you have at least some sort of Chinese heritage, then you can make your image look like you're Chinese. Did that about cover it for you for you hypersensitive people out there? Here's the thing. First of all, let's talk about the thumbnail. Let's be a little bit frank here. In fact, before we even get into this, let's look at if you want to look at a video, if you want my opinions on racism, because I'm not going to give them all here. I just want to talk about this particular video. Go check out this video that I did on race and racism, and that'll clear things up, right? That's my thoughts. And you want to unsubscribe, I don't care. But here's the thing. Let's talk about this image itself, right? So, first of all, I didn't create the thumbnail. I don't create the thumbnails for my page. I'm responsible for the thumbnails for my page because it is my YouTube channel. My editor creates the thumbnails. Now, my editor is an awesome guy, super awesome guy, one of the best guys I've ever had the pleasure of working with, right? He shows me the thumbnail, and I looked at it, and initially, I may have had not a similar reaction, but a negative reaction to the thumbnail, right? Because I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is going to cause some issues. Some people are going to be offended by this. I wasn't offended by it, right? I didn't really find it personally offensive or offensive in any way, but I know because I have studied the Political Correct Police Handbook, and I know that is going to trigger some hypersensitive people because it's against the political police, the law, obviously, and I don't have the Chinese heritage, so I don't call for the exception for it. So I looked at it and I said, and then I had to self-examine. I said, John, are you going to be the kind of person that limits your own freedom, right? Because you're afraid of what people are going to think, right? When you look at this image, you actually think, oh yeah, I'm racist. I better hide that shit. Because that's a good strategy, right? If you're racist, you should hide that shit. Oh gosh, right? No, I looked at that and said, I'm saying good things about China and Chinese people. I love Chinese. I get along with everyone, right? I go somewhere, I don't judge anyone based on, best I can. I mean, we all have stereotypes, it's fine. But yeah, right? So I'm like, should I really be catering to people that are going to make a big deal out of nothing, or should I just go for it? I mean, this is a funny picture. My editor spent some quality time producing this thing. I think it's funny. A lot of people will think it's funny. Some people will be triggered. So be it. It's art. Put it out there. So I said, yeah, go for it. You got my blessing. Go for it, right? And so, I mean, some of you, you understand. Big deal. Not a big deal, right? It's funny, whatever. In fact, the only identifiably Asian person that I know of that I noticed when looking through the comments said that it's funny. I liked it. It made me laugh, right? So it's kind of funny. The people that seemed to be the most quote triggered by this were surprisingly the very people that were not Asian that felt the need to defend the rights of defend these poor defenseless Chinese people that are being made fun of and damaged by John having a picture of a mustache and a Chinese hat on him. Oh man, seriously. So there's some comments like, oh, would you make a video with you with a black face on? I would if it were appropriate. If I felt like that would be, I wouldn't do it just for shock factor. I didn't do this one for shock factor, right? But I wouldn't restrict myself from doing it. Now, considerably, there would be more fallout from that. I agree. Do I agree that the fallout would be right? No. Do I think that it would be probably worth the price? Probably not. Unless there was a real good reason for me to do it, I probably wouldn't do it. But if there was, I would, right? Because here's the thing, and this is what I want to talk about this is because, I don't really give a shit. Some people are going to be upset by this, but I think there's a good lesson in this, which is that you can't let other people restrict your freedom. You understand what I'm saying? This is what the real issue here is. It's like, if you're not racist and you want to talk about a subject or make a picture about a thing, you can't just let other people's values, the political correctness police come in and then define who you are and what your limits are and what's appropriate. You define that, right? There's no such thing as quote appropriate, right? We're in a real and honest world. We're real and honest, right? We don't have to have these limits, right? Ironically, I guess I would say that I find that the most racist people, who you define as racist, are the most triggered by racist imagery and content because it reflects something within them, because they have to hyper defend that thing and destroy that thing because it exposes some part of them that they don't like to see. I find that the people that are least racist are the most comfortable discussing race, making fun of whatever, and they don't care, right? Because who cares, right? It's not a big deal, right? Now, I'm not saying that there's not a such thing as racism, right? Again, I'll point you to that other video. I'm not going to go into the details there. But you got to look at someone's intent, and you got to look at their motives. And even if their intent was negative, even if they were, quote, racist, and honestly so, would you really want to censor? Would you really want them to hold back their viewpoint, right? Or would you rather have them put out what they're saying in the open so that it could be addressed? Would you chastise them and say, oh, that's inappropriate, right? Or would you rather have a discussion and maybe move, right? A hidden thing does not get addressed, right? So that's my whole point here is, right, let's not beat people up with the stick of justice telling other people what's appropriate. Let's judge their actions, let's judge their words, let's judge their intent, and let's talk about that. Now, if there's an error in that, if that is a problem, if someone's saying things and they're believing things and they're preaching things that are clearly against, discriminatory against another group of people based solely on a physical attribute of that group of people, let's address that. Let's talk about that. Let's come to them and let's say, hey, look, why do you say? Let's not even beat them at this point. Let's ask them intelligent questions. Let's say, that's interesting that you think that all X people are like this and you have this negative viewpoint of them because they're X people. why do you think that way? Or why do you, just curious, not judging you, but why do you think that that is appropriate? I want to hear. I want to understand your reasoning behind believing this, right? And maybe with that kind of dialogue, you could move them a little bit, because maybe they'll say, well, because one time when I was a kid, this whatever dude came up and he mugged my mother or whatever, Maybe they have some really traumatic reason why they believe it. And then maybe you could say, well, not all troglodytes are like that. I happen to know, I have friends with, and some troglodytes are actually quite friendly. And it's unfortunate that you experienced this, and I'm sad that this happened to you. But do you think that this should color your opinion of the whole group of fictitious creatures? You see what I'm saying, right? This is a proper way to address these kinds of issues, and not to suddenly just pull out the political correctness police and say, this image, you can't have that image there. No, that's a totally racist thing. And would you do a blackface? No, that's not it. Unless, of course, you've got that heritage. Unless you are that, then you could do that. And just one other issue here. I actually deleted a comment. I do delete some comments, if I feel like they don't add any value and they're just like, flame bait or whatever. And I wish I didn't delete this one, honestly, because on one thread on there, a person said, basically they said this. They said, because I said on here, I said, when I went to China, there was a bunch of people, of Chinese people, taking my picture because I'm the white guy, and basically even coming up to me and asking to take my picture because there's this white guy in China staring at me, all this, right? I'm not offended by any of that. It's kind of funny. It could, in the United States here, would the political correctness police say, that's totally racist? I mean, if you did that, right? If a Chinese person came walking down the street in the United States and you're staring at them and you're like running up and taking their picture because they're Chinese, yeah, that would, I think most of the political correctness police would say that is racist. Yeah, that happens over there. And it does happen over there. And I got a reply back that was like, what do you mean Chinese people go, maybe you haven't even been to China, although, I've got video of me in China. Okay, whatever. Chinese people don't run up and take your picture because you're a white guy. Get the fuck out. You don't know what you're talking about. Really? Okay, well, Exhibit A, how about this picture of like 20 Chinese school children just gathering around me, just going crazy because there's a white dude there, right? Just all over when we're traveling over China. This was a big thing, I mean, you have to understand China a little bit, right? I don't think I pointed this out in the video, but when you are there, and you're like, American, European, whatever, you are like the only white person, like non-Chinese person. Like, you look around and it's a sea of Chinese people and you get stared at. And you get pointed at, and you are in a lot of pictures, and people will come up to you, and some of them will ask, and they'll say, hey, hello, can I take a picture of you, right? And they'll say that, and it's kind of funny, because they say, hello, right? Is that racist to say how they say it? No, I think it's funny, I'm not, it's cool, and I'm cool with taking a picture. They say, they say picture, and I take a picture with them, right? And that happens all over the place. It's not a big deal. It's people acting naturally, normally. Are these people suddenly like, turning on me because I'm not like them? No, they're just curious. They're just acting natural, right? It's a shock. It's a surprise to them, right? This kind of innocent behavior is not racism. And it does happen. And if you go to China, you will see this happen. And some of you might be highly triggered and offended by that. And I feel sad for you because it's innocent, right? It's just people. And if you want to understand and empathize with people, you have to understand that this is part of human nature. People are curious about things that they don't understand. People make stereotypes. People do generalizations. Not all of this is harmful. some of it, when it's deep-seated into a culture or a way of being, can be harmful. When people use it to discriminate against a set of people, it can be harmful, right? But what's really harmful, what I know is harmful, is to shut down people's expression because of some judgment that you have, because you believe something is appropriate or not appropriate, and you're judging just the mere appearance of a thing rather than the content of it, right? And even those inappropriate things, they need to be expressed in society because they need to be debated and they need to be uncovered. Stuff that happens behind the curtain, stuff that gets stuffed into the chest, into the closet, doesn't get dealt with. It doesn't get addressed. It doesn't get out there in the open. It doesn't get resolved. It just becomes a hidden part. That's where we're evil. That's where darkness brews, right? Shine the light on it, right? But do it in the appropriate way, and shine it on content, not appearance, right? Let's not be so shallow. Let's not be so naive. Let's not be so surface level that we look at a picture and we say, oh, that's racist. That is such a, can you understand how that can be such a high surface level judgment of a thing? So hopefully some of you understand where I'm coming from. Some of you don't, and you still don't get it. That's fine. You can unsubscribe from the channel. You can do whatever you want, but I'll tell you this. If you make, big deals out of small things, your life is going to be extremely miserable. You should try and be as least offended as possible in life. The less that you allow yourself to be offended, the less that you have expectations on people, the less you think what is appropriate and not appropriate. Oh gosh, it's like a big weight. It's like you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, because you got to judge everyone. You got to tell everyone what they should be doing, what they should be wearing, how they should be talking, what kind of thumbnails they should put on their YouTube videos, because you got to make sure that they're in line. They're not violating any of these laws that you've made up of what's appropriate. That's a lot of stress, a lot of responsibility, a lot of weight. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you should just let that go and say, you know what? I'm just gonna let people do what they want, and if someone's trying to do harm, then if I have to defend myself, I will. But as little as I could be offended, I'm gonna choose that path. Then just in case you're curious, that's the path that I've chosen. So, so sad. Anyway, that's it. We'll see. We'll see the next time that I trigger people on this. It shouldn't be a shock at this point, right? Come on. So I'll wrap up with this one last point. Don't let people restrict your freedom. The more that you are able to express yourself and not worry what people think, not worry what is, quote, appropriate, but use your own judgment to decide, the more free that you're going to be. And the more that you bow down to society's expectations, to those political correctness police, and to doing what is, quote, appropriate, the less free that you're going to be. So you choose your path in life. You want freedom? You don't want freedom. Freedom does come at a price. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get lambasted at times. Some people are going to call you a racist. But you know what you are. So work from there. All right. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like this video and you think I'm a racist, unsubscribe to the channel, or share it to all your friends and say, look at this racist dude. And some of them will disagree with you and subscribe. So I'd appreciate that. So anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Sayonara.